What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we are going to be doing a 2-round mock draft post Deshaun Watson trade, post Davante Adams trade. Gotta love it. So, of course, if you guys do like this type of stuff, feel free to stick around. I'd love for you guys to join the community by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Go look at the description below as well. We've got plenty of links there to be even more involved. Got a great Discord over there, over 130 people in it. Love it. You guys can, of course, reach out to me at any time through Discord, through Twitter, through Instagram. Again, links down in the description. Of course, feel free to reach down in the comment section to talk to me, because I'm always willing to hear some constructive criticism, what you guys do like, what you guys don't, because, again, I'm not here to continuously make stuff for clicks. I mean, it's nice to get the clicks, but it's also nice to give you guys a good product as well. So I'd rather be able to mix that quantity and quality for you guys. So let's kick right into this. I don't know if you guys see that, but behind the scenes, I accidentally had my clicker over the mute button. Love it. But still, let's kick in. Number one overall, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars on the board. And honestly, for a long time, I was a huge proponent of the Evan Neal train, or the Ikem Ekwonu train, once Cam Robinson was franchise tagged. You know, with Ikem, it could be like you rest him for a year, or you put him into guard and then kick him out to tackle next year. That was a brilliant idea in my mind. Of course, if you get Brandon Scherff, I'm never going to be like going off on the Jacksonville Jaguars for doing that. It just kind of sucks that we can't get a top 3 tackle here. It's a little bit of a bummer because I studied next year's class. I'm not that confident in anybody being a true stud at tackle. With that being said, we will see. We will see in time. I do believe that this opens up the idea for Aidan Hutchinson out of Michigan to be the guy, though. You know, you are looking for instant impact. You know, this is Doug Peterson's first pick as the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars here. Usually people like to go a safer route with that pick. Number 2, with the Detroit Lions, I talked about this on my let me just say this right now. I made a mock draft and it was the worst timing ever. Deshaun Watson got traded an hour after. So, you know what, like, shoot me, right? But I explained it a little bit there. I'll do it again here. So I talked about who's the biggest winner out of like this Brandon Scherff signing. And it's not the Jags. Certainly isn't any of these offensive linemen, but I think it was KT. You know, you could talk about Kyle Hamilton being back into the question. You could even talk, some people are going off the deep end and saying that Malik Willis is a target at 2. No, like, I love Malik with a passion. I swear to God, I will go over to Detroit and break their shit if they go after Malik Willis at 2. Like, there's just no reason for it. You need to get someone who's actually going to impact your roster. Also, we forget that with a good enough roster and a good enough scheme around Jared Goff, he kind of went to the Super Bowl. Just saying. That aside, you know, KT has had some pretty poor interviews with teams, and like, the idea is that he might be a little bit selfish, and you know what? Maybe he takes some plays off, but for one, he knows that he's the number 1 pick. He's not really working towards anything. Now he is in the NFL. But 2, also, he was getting injured. You know, he was getting injured for a team that was going absolutely nowhere. And we are in a selfish league. The league's out for itself. We all know. We all talk about how the NFL is really corrupt. It's only there for the money. They do a bunch of PR stuff to make it look like it's not. But, you know, at the end of the day, these players do what's best for them. Davante Adams just got paid just under $30 million a year. Just because Kayvon's saying it earlier and saying that he's doing his best to make sure he's set up for the future earlier doesn't mean that he's a bad person or a bad prospect. I really don't think that. And with someone like Dan Campbell, who will be able to get the max out of every player, I think KT would be still such an amazing option. Number 3, you got the Texans on the board. And this is a best case scenario because you can go Ikem Ekwonu. If you want to keep Laramie Tunsil, you can kick Ikem Ekwonu into guard or move him to right tackle. You can also do that with Evan Neal. I just think that you're pretty much going to be shoving Titus Howard into guard. Evan Neal is the best choice here for both, for the overall pick. But at the same time, Ikem, if you are looking to bolster your offensive line with someone who could be probably not a day 1 impact at tackle, but maybe the higher ceiling, Ikem Ekwonu might be getting that hype. And personally, I would be going Evan Neal. But I am a bit worried about his weight. He has dropped about, well, he was like, what, 332 at the combine, and he started out the year like 360. I don't know how strong he's going to be. Like, yeah, he's lean as all get go, but you have to have some more mass there. He's a tall dude. He's 3 inches taller than Ikem Ekwonu. So you might say I'm crazy here, and I would probably say you're crazy too. I might go Ikem just because, again, you're getting that upside, but we'll go Evan. We will. I think he's just he was by far my tackle one. And I'm just pretty much hypothesizing that he might be losing a little bit of ground because of his weight loss. But still an absolute monster of a prospect. Big fan of him. Number 4 for the Jets. Now, people got on my ass because I went Ikem Ekwonu last time, and I very well might do the same right now. But I will say this. I forgot about Laken Tomlinson signing. So, you have AVT, you got Laken Tomlinson, and you have Mekhi Becton. There are rumors that Mekhi Becton might be moving on. They're trade rumors right now. And they're not very loud. They're pretty much just in the background, but he was potentially being shopped earlier in the year. And this is coming out of a report in February. So it's not like it's old news. This is pretty recent. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. And I think Ikem Ekwonu could take that spot. Fant as well is not somebody who I would want long-term. And I don't think that the Jets have a long-term plan for him. I would still love Ikem Ekwonu. I will just say it'd be very tough to say you have a top 5 pick and you're going to be sitting him the first year. That doesn't seem very likely. And I'm going to listen to you guys on that one because it really doesn't make sense, does it? So for that, we are actually going to be going a different route, and it's down to 2 players for me because I love Ikem Ekwonu, but we got to change it up. It's down. I keep forgetting I took KT. KT's always here in the mock drafts. I would say it's down to KT and Sauce Gardner. And I think that based on the situation, I'll say this because a lot of people are probably going to go ballistic at Sauce Gardner at 4. I will just say this. I think Sauce Gardner is the best player that I have studied, and I've studied the past 2.5 draft classes. So I have a good amount of dudes in there, including Trevor Lawrence and stuff. For their position, I don't think anybody has been as consistently good against extremely high-level talent as Sauce Gardner. His weight is a little bit iffy, but when you see how he can play physically at that size, it's ridiculous. When he runs a 4.41 at 6'3" and has the best man skills I have ever seen in a corner coming out of college, especially for Cincinnati, that is special. This team prided itself on a long stretch of ground to a man who is on an island, Darrelle Revis. When you are able to pretty much lock down one side of the field because of Darrelle Revis, you need to bring that back. Now, is it a solid thing to go corner at 4? Probably not. But this is different. This guy is different. I really do think that he has all the measurables besides maybe the weight. If he's 5 pounds or 10 pounds heavier, awesome, that you could want. He tested phenomenally, and man, he's not going to be there at pick 10. He's not. So you're pretty much choosing between a player that probably should be pick 4 and someone who's just not going to be there at pick 10. And to me, I think Sauce has to be this pick. It really does. If you're not going to go offensive line, which I still think Ikem Ekwonu would be a good one, it's just not very realistic to say, hey, we're going to draft a lineman and he's just not going to play all year one. Unless you want to get rid of Mekhi Becton, which we'll talk about that one. If that situation ever comes up, make sure to come back for that video because you bet your ass that I'm going to be taking a tackle. Number 5 with the Giants. You beefed up the interior, the offensive line. You guys know damn well we're going offensive tackle here. And I'm going to go Ikem Ekwonu. A lot of the NFL is actually pretty low on Charles Cross, so it's a little bit unfortunate, but Ikem Ekwonu is your guy. Number 6 with the Panthers, you lost out on Deshaun Watson, which sucks. Sure. Yeah. It definitely sucks. But at the same time, you do save a large amount of draft capital for your team to actually build up. Because in reality, you did lose some key pieces this year. Bringing back Dante Jackson was nice, though. I'll give you guys that. Left tackle, there's actually a rumor, I think, of Dwayne Brown coming back. I'm forgetting who it was. It might have been Russell Okung. I think it might be Dwayne Brown. Regardless, one of those veteran tackles is going to be coming to the Panthers. There's big rumors about that one. So I think they're not very comfortable with tackle 3 at 6. This makes sense. You missed out on Deshaun Watson. My comp for Malik Willis, his ceiling is Deshaun Watson. I just saw pieces of Deshaun in him, and it just makes sense. It really does. Number 7 for the Giants, they are sitting here, and could you go edge 100%? You got Travon Walker here, who would be an absolute stud. Wink Martindale, the DC right now coming from the Ravens, is a phenomenal developer of edge rush talent. We saw last year what he did with Odafe Owe. And if this happens, I'm 100% on board, 100%. That being said, you also just got rid of Logan Ryan, which means you're pretty much down to Xavier McKinney. That's a big loss. And there's someone who is, a lot of people said before he ran like a 4.56, a generational talent here. The intangibilities didn't go away. It was just showing that he wasn't a pure elite athlete. And if you guys ever get to see my notes, because I don't know if I actually want to make those public, I put a lot of times that Kyle Hamilton was randomly starting very, very deep. And I was wondering why. And I think it was to compensate for that speed. So there are some issues with him, but at the same time, man, those intangibilities are just so damn good. So damn good. Love Kyle Hamilton. And I think that would be a perfect pickup because, again, check out, we're still doing round 2 of this video. We'll see what happens there. So see you guys, the Giants fans, probably in like 2 seconds because I feel like you guys are going to skip through. But see you soon. Number 8 with the Falcons here. Man, you guys have lost out in that wide receiver class big time. The biggest wide receivers are starting to sign elsewhere. You still have a chance. So I'm very happy to see if you guys can bring someone back. But like right now, you're starting 3. Your best one is Frank Darby, who I gave like a C grade on in like the 4th last year. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all. And there's like apparently interest with Jarvis Landry. Absolutely amazing. If you can get somebody who is worth playing in the NFL. I mean, it's not a good day for the Falcons. I'll put it that way. The quarterback could be on the move. Matt Ryan could be out of there. He probably got a little bit embarrassed by the fact that the Falcons probably did everything they could and just decided to end up not getting Deshaun Watson, which really sucks. But, Travon Walker could be a good move here. I don't really trust the Falcons to develop a raw edge talent. I mean, hell, the way that I think I think Pease came from Tennessee. Tennessee had their biggest issue was developing edge rushers. So the last thing I would want for you guys is to try to develop Travon Walker here. And rip David Ojabo. We'll talk about him if he comes up. Garrett Wilson's going to be the pick. Bottom line, ran a 4.39. The guy's built to be a true number 1 wide receiver besides the weight. Again, 2 of my favorite players in the class. Their big issue is weight. Really smooth route runner. He doesn't get enough credit. He really doesn't. No matter how many people put him as their wide receiver 1, people will always kind of like shit on something about him. Very well-rounded as a wide receiver. Good body control. I have a wide receiver rankings list out right now. You guys can go check that one out. If the video processes in time, I might even put a little info card up here. You guys don't realize it's a pain in the ass, but I love you guys. Number 9, we got the Seahawks on the board. And, with being able to get Shelby Harris out of the deal, I might go Travon Walker. Derek Stingley seems like a really fun option, though. Again, they did bring back Sidney Jones, but you lost Ahkello Witherspoon last year to the Steelers. It's not exactly an elite receiving core. You could go offensive line, though, because Charles Cross is here. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. When you don't have the foundation for success on your entire roster, the best thing you could do is kind of build that foundation. And that's going to be Charles Cross, building that offensive line. Because the defensive line, we already know the Seahawks can make it do with guys who are just not very big impacts. But when it comes to offensive line, that's been a big struggle for a long time. Charles Cross falls, but not very far. Number 9, I think that would just be a phenomenal move. Number 10, you got the Jets on the board. We'll do a quick little recap if you guys want to just check out right over here who's on the board. By the way, guys, I do this all live. I don't like the idea of like doing it and then scrolling through. Like, I know that there's some pretty successful YouTubers out there, including my boy Broshmo, who do that, but I'm not like that. I don't think that that's my style. And I think that I'd rather do it live. So you guys see my thought process, see where I screw up as well. Cause you guys get to actually see my thought process live. And if I think something wrong, you guys are the ones who can criticize me for it. But still, here at number 10, the Jets are on the board. And we went corner already. I think Travon Walker could be a really nice addition. Robert Saleh, again, really good at developing edge talent. So I think that would be a phenomenal move. Wide receiver as well, man. When you think about it, let's look at what would be there in the second round. We might look at Sky Moore, but I don't feel comfortable at that point. I really don't. This could be a trade back spot potentially, but at number 11, this guy's going anyways. I'm going to be going Drake London here out of USC. You have to. It's a must. You have to do that. At this point, like you have to get a true number one wide receiver. He can play in the slot as well. That's what I love about him. You can have Corey Davis along with Elijah Moore, who was one of my guys last year as well. Now you can also add Drake London to that mix. That's going to make a very well-rounded receiving core. And with that new renewed solid offensive line, barring, of course, if Mekhi Becton gets traded and injury, I think that this could be a legit top 16 offense. You know, you have the receiving core there. You got a developing quarterback. You don't really have the full running back room. And then you have a good enough offensive line. That's certainly good enough to push in that top 16. So this is a good piece. This is a huge piece. I love Drake London. Number 11 for Washington football team. I've been trading back with them quite a bit, and I don't think that's going to change. I'm looking at the guys on the board, and you got Derek Stingley, and Travon Walker. Honestly, I might have a team trade up for Travon. That wouldn't be a bad idea at all, would it? That'd be a good idea. I'm just thinking out loud here, guys. Man, Travon Walker would be a fun addition to a lot of these teams. And I don't think they want to trade in the NFC. And I already know that right here, the Vikings would love it. I talked about a certain coordinator being able to develop edge talent very well, but he's moved on from the Ravens. And the Ravens, well, they thought that Zadarius Smith was coming their way. Not anymore. So yeah, you could sit there and you could possibly be able to get Jordan Davis, but at the same time, I think this is probably about right. I hate the algorithm in this, but when you could get Travon Walker for this squad, oh my God, you can kick him inside too. It's just a little bit ridiculous right now. Travon Walker would be insane on the squad. But at number 12, this is going to be Derek Stingley Jr. Again, you don't exactly need as much help at the cornerback position as maybe you would expect. But when you have someone like Derek Stingley on the board, you take a shot. Number 13 for the Texans. And I am not going Trent McDuffie here. He fits Lovie Smith's scheme 100%. But at the same time, I am not that high on Trent. And I do think he's a late first as a scheme fit. If they want to trade up for him, then awesome. But I highly doubt that the pick they receive for Deshaun Watson is going to turn into that. I do think Jermaine Johnson should be on the board at this point, especially with the loss of David Ojabo. That boosts Jermaine's stock. You could see Jordan Davis be this pick, though. He is ridiculous. And you might actually just want to trade back and see what could happen there. But, man, because I love Jermaine Johnson, but also Jordan Davis should be going around now. Oh, that sucks. Okay, we're going to go Jermaine Johnson here. You need to go an edge rusher eventually. And I think Jermaine Johnson would be an excellent addition to this team. It's a really good edge class for sure. But Jermaine Johnson, you already know, is going to bring in that veteran leadership, that day one impact. So when you look at guys like Travon Walker, where I was saying about trading up there for him, I think you just really need somebody to mentor Travon. And even though Odafe isn't really the best guy to do it, the Ravens, you already know that they know how to develop those guys. But still, number 14, we got the Washington football team back on the board. And they're going to snag this guy from the Philadelphia Eagles, Devin Lloyd out of Utah. I still think that going linebacker should be potentially in this realm. And this guy's a day one starter. Wide receivers certainly could be among the guys you target with Treylon Burks here. I just really doubt that you go after Treylon Burks at that point. If you want to trade back twice, 100%. I'm just not really on board with it. I don't think any of the corners besides Kyer Elam are worth this pick. So for me, I think going after a true proven Devin Lloyd would be as good as you can get. And again, you're taking him away from the Philadelphia Eagles. That's a big plus. And again, you're trying to make sure that you don't have to face him multiple times a year, because Alex Singleton just got released and I believe he got picked up by somebody. I'm bugging right now, but Devin Lloyd would be a great addition. You have him, Cole Holcomb, and now Jamin Davis. You're making a much more well-rounded linebacking core. There we go. And I think that's going to be a big plus to a team that, honestly, you're almost built for a Super Bowl again, especially in the NFC. Get these two first-round linebackers going. Jamin Davis continue to develop. Devin Lloyd could be that true Mike that you're looking for. Number 15 for the Eagles. Unfortunately, we kind of lost out on the Jermaine Johnson thing. That sucks, because I really like Jermaine Johnson to this team, regardless of Hassan Reddick. But I do think Treylon Burks needs to be in this mix, along with the corner. I think Kyer Elam could certainly be in this category. Honestly, for once, I don't really feel that much of a need to do much for the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, I really don't. And that's a big compliment to how they built themselves over the offseason. Like, I'm looking at it, and honestly, I'm going to go Jordan Davis. Like, do you exactly need him? No. You got Fletcher Cox on a 1 year, $14 million deal. But again, that deal is for 1 year, and you very well could be potentially switching to a 3-4. That's not Gannon's defense, but at the same time, you got Hassan Reddick, who's more thrived at basically being an outside linebacker, edge rusher. You could, of course, do it kind of like a Brandon Staley type. But regardless, I think Jordan Davis is a phenomenal pass rusher and a lot more than what people give him credit for. He's an amazing run stuffer. We all know that, but he doesn't get enough credit for his pass rushing ability. The guy has just totally gotten himself into a different level of shape, and he ran faster than Darion Kendrick. What? There's somebody playing a corner next to him, and he's, as a D tackle at 340 pounds, is running faster. Ridiculous. Also, big shout out to Jordan Davis for being able to work his ass off in the offseason to get into shape. Big plus for him. At number 16 for the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm going to be sticking to my guns here. Treylon Burks for Arkansas. Again, I just think that is going to be the move. They went after Juju Smith-Schuster last year. They showed their cards of trying to get a larger wide receiver. This is a great guy to do that with. Number 17 for the Chargers. Interior defensive line should not be on that list anymore. Should not. They brought in 2 dudes. And linebacker makes sense here. I think Leo Chanel could be a really intriguing option, but without having Lyle Collins on the board anymore, because he just signed with the Bengals. So I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm a Steelers fan, but it shows you guys I have no bias. I'm happy for good moves I just like good football. But Trevor Penning is a perfect option here. You got Rashawn Slater, who's pretty much already a guaranteed 5-star. And then you have Corey Linsley, who's pretty damn good as a center as well. Had a little bit of an off year, if I'm not mistaken, but he's proven himself for sure. Continue to invest in that offensive line and getting somebody who is extremely powerful like Trevor Penning. That's the way to go. You brought Mike Williams back. Yeah, you could go after another wide receiver. I just think that is going to be your best bet. Number 18 with the Saints. You also missed out on a quarterback, but you're bringing Jameis back. So now you have Michael Thomas and what else? I think Jameson Williams is a perfect option here. Chris Olave would be a really good separator too. Even Jahan Dotson, who I have actually above both of them. You do your pick, honestly. And I'm sure that a team like even the Packers would be appreciative of any of these guys. I do think Jameson Williams, people are saying he's not going to get that injury tax. So like my previous drafts, we're going to go Jameson Williams there. Philadelphia Eagles at number 19 overall. I have a weird feeling that they want to move here. They want to move back. But at the same time, I'm just not going to move him back. Nakobe Dean's getting hinted at being pretty much a second-round pick. I have a feeling Kaiir Elam's going to be in this territory, though. And he seems like a Patriots guy. Patriots very well might snag him. And I think the Eagles know that the drop-off, I'm pretty sure the drop-off is pretty huge after Kaiir Elam. Your next best bet is praying that Andrew Booth gets there or Kyler Gordon, and most likely they're not going to be. And then Tariq Woolen, after that, I'm not really comfortable with many of them. You could go Roger McCreary, but that dude is potentially a slot. I'm going to go Kaiir here, man. I think that he fits the scheme really well. He's going to be amazing paired up next to big play Slay. And, he's going to save a shit ton of money against the cap. Praying for you guys that you guys can get Tyrann Mathieu, but hey, it is the way it is. You got an absolute stud, potential corner 1 with Kaiir Elam out of Florida. I'd be so happy if I were the Eagles and I got those picks. Honestly, you got 3 potential game changers. That's a pretty big start to rebuilding your franchise into making it a super team. Number 20 for the Steelers. This could be interior defensive line with Devontae Wyatt. I know that there was a saying, I think Mike Tomlin said it, Jordan Davis is on the board at 20. He's taking him. Devontae Wyatt's a pretty damn close second right there. Devontae Wyatt's insane. That being said, you could look at a true corner 1 here. I just don't know if there's exactly one. Kaiir Elam's my true corner 1 that I could see. Trent McDuffie doesn't seem to fit. You brought Kello Witherspoon back, Akello Witherspoon back, and then obviously Levi Wallace as well. Do I think they're actual corner 1s? No, but I also don't see anybody being worth it for the Steelers here. So we're getting off that train. Tackle is the next thing that I would probably target. Nobody even close to worth it. Wide receiver could be, though. And I think this might not be a bad place to start looking. Because you got Deontay Johnson, and he's going to be an amazing number 1. Chris Olave might be a really sneaky number 2. Because, again, you want to make sure that people in your own division or conference don't get good players. And this might be the right move. Again, Juju Smith-Schuster is gone. James Washington is gone. You're pretty much down to Claypool and Deontay Johnson, which is a good pair. But at the same time, I mean, Chris Olave could be an amazing addition to this team. Really good separator and someone who can play on the boundary or in the slot. I think I'd like to see Deontay Johnson move back to the slot. Honestly, let's do it. Chris Olave out of Ohio State. That's the first time I ever took receiver to the Steelers, and especially this early. Most likely I would probably do it in like the third. I think that's a phenomenal option. Really, I'm starting to really fall in love with that idea. Chris Olave, obviously in Ohio State, he's from the North. So I think that being able to keep him up there would be a phenomenal option. Again, Jahan Dotson, I think would be better. But I really do think Chris Olave at a 4.38 or 4.39 speed consistently year after year from his freshman year, being able to produce at a good enough level, separate at a consistent level. That's going to be something the Steelers really do look at. Number 21 for the Patriots. It's down to Jahan Dotson or a linebacker, Nakobe Dean. I mean, you could go a corner here, and it could be Tariq Woolen. So we might actually want to trade back here. But man, I could really see a lot of teams taking Tariq Woolen by the next pick. We're going to do it. We're going to take Tariq Woolen here out of UTSA. At the same, you might think that, wow, you're going from JC Jackson to Tariq Woolen. I agree. It's a big downgrade. But one, Belichick has proven to be able to level up corners, so to speak, develop them in a proper manner at 6'4", 4.26 speed, tested official. That is ridiculous. That's just not supposed to happen. And, you saw Eric Stokes, who was honestly, I wasn't very high on Eric Stokes. I had a mid to early second round grade. Having trouble here. But, he went late first, and he went to the scheme that I thought he was actually worse suited for. But I think Tariq Woolen might have a similar range. And given the lack of talent of corner in this class, I really don't like it. I'm not a fan of Kyler Gordon. I'm not really that high on Andrew Booth. I have him as a second. Has some good tape in there, but I have a feeling there's a reason why he's not testing. And then Trent McDuffie's under 6 foot. Roger McCreary, under 6 foot. Dinosaur, little T-Rex arms on that dude. Your next best bet is Marcus Jones as a slot. Josh Williams, who, he was good in the Senior Bowl. It's just not a very good class. So getting Tariq Woolen here at least certifies that you're going to be able to snag a really unique player. Number 22 with the Packers, wide receiver is going to have to be this pick. It's Aaron Rodgers is in control of the draft board. We're going to go Jahan Dotson here out of Penn State. They're just losing out left, right, and center, not even getting Robert Woods, which I know the Rams probably wouldn't want to trade him to the one team they're trying to beat in the Super Bowl or in the NFC Conference Championship. But at the same time, I'm thinking dude, if Green Bay offered maybe a this year 4th, you can't deny that versus a next year 6th. So, I think that they just didn't try hard enough. Number 23 with the Cards. Let's just do another quick little check here and see who is on the board. You have some phenomenal players, including Tyler Linderbaum, who I think that I might be sending very soon to a team. George Karlaftis also on the board. A wide receiver, Sky Moore, could be in the mix, but I'm not going to be sending him here. I think that he might be falling a little bit later. So with everything that has happened to this team, I think that, if Ojabo didn't tear his Achilles, that would have been probably the perfect pick possible. He's not there anymore. George Karlaftis dropped some weight. I think he could be a really, really good fit. But also offensive lines here. This is a really deep offensive line class, though. Same thing with edge. It's a coin toss. We're going to go offensive line here. We're actually going to go with Zion Johnson out of Boston College. A guy who can play guard or center. A lot of people are saying he's going to be the first interior offensive lineman off the board, and in this case, he is. Number 24 for the Cowboys. This kills me. Tyler Linderbaum's top 5 on my board. I want him gone as much as you guys do. Kenyon Green could be this pick, and I think it is. He can play tackle, which obviously potentially 2 tackle spots will be open within the next year. And then he can also play guard at a very high level. So I like that versatility. That's exactly what's going to give him the ticket to go number 24 to the Cowboys. It's so crazy how the Cowboys have just completely crumbled this offseason. And at least they do something right here. Number 25 with the Bills, corner 2 is a necessity at this point. Also, another reason why the Patriots had to take Tariq. He was going to be this pick. And again, you don't want to see how he turns out with the right scheme. I think Trent McDuffie wouldn't be a shabby option. I don't think teams are going to be like, this is probably going to be him, isn't it? He's 5'11", but damn it, he is talented. I think he could fit this team. He has safety coverage over the top. Let's go Trent McDuffie here out of Washington. Number 26, I like this in a wide receiver here, but no more. No more. I think that when you look at the Titans, offensive line could be something they go after. Tyler Linderbaum's here, but they just brought Ben Jones back. Oh, that's like the worst timing ever, right? And the Dolphins would just love Tyler Linderbaum, wouldn't they? They would just scoop it up, right? So let's ruin the party. Sorry, Brushmo, but we're going to be ruining that party. I think the Jets might want to make this move here. I mean, the Jets are also in the AFC, so you might not want to do that, but I kind of want to do it. You can also look right here with the Giants, dude. The Giants move. Oh, Giants with Linderbaum. Let's do it. Screw it. We're doing it. We're live. We're doing it. Let's go. Giants are moving up, and they're going to be offering a nice deal to the Titans. Is that a big trade back? Absolutely, but I just don't think anything's worth it at this moment. We're giving it this year 3 along with a next year 4. I think that's more than valuable enough. You could do a 2-3-3. You guys can debate that down in the comment section below. Okay. You can tell me which one, according to the chart, fits the best. I think edge would be a phenomenal choice here, but no, we're going to go Tyler Linderbaum out of Iowa, making sure that the entire offensive line is 100%. Sometimes you just have to make the right move. And at number 27, after losing out on the guard chase, Tyler Smith might be the best option for this team. A wide receiver is not much of a need. I don't know why that's listed as a need 1. You know, Shaq Mason is going to be there. Tyler Smith could fill that other guard spot pretty well, and I think that wouldn't be a bad option. And he can move out to left tackle when all is said and done. Basically save the team some good money right there. I think that's the best move. Let's go Tyler Smith here. You know, I think the guy's absolutely phenomenal. He's in actually the NFL. When you guys look at their top 50 players list, he's at number 30. And like, I have him at number 24, but hot damn. And they also had him listed as a tackle, which is really weird to me. But regardless, number 28 with the Green Bay Packers. This guy's too good to be on the board. George Karlaftis. Yeah. Even if Aaron Rodgers is at the helm, I still think he'd see that guy and be like, that guy's way too good to be on the board. So number 29, you know, the Dolphins lost out on being able to get La'el Collins. That sucks, but rejoice because you get Nakobe Dean. I think that you're kind of just getting a pretty good option all around. At number 30, you got the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're still looking for a wide receiver. Actually, no, they aren't. They got Juju. Oh, that sucks even more. As a Steelers fan, that hurts. So I don't even know why they're looking at wide receiver anymore. They could look at a safety like Dax Hill, and I think that'd be awesome. Lewis Seen could play a safety role for them as well since Tyrann Mathieu's gone. Lewis Seen seems like a guy who could fit. Dax Hill could be too. You could even look at a linebacker here. We're going to go with Dax just because I do think that overall he's an absolute monster. I like Lewis Seen a little bit more, but at the same time, I do think Dax Hill is going to be getting the nod here. He can play slot. He can also play safety. Lewis Seen kind of more so came on at the Natty versus Daxton Hill's been there for a long time. Number 31 with the Bengals, who just got La'el Collins. So screw that offensive tackle need for you guys. Yeah, I think that you're kind of stuck. I don't even know why you need an interior offensive line anymore. I was thinking that you might want to go Linderbaum. Keep forgetting that Ted Karras is now on the squad. This team doesn't really need much, man. It doesn't. It really doesn't. You go Andrew Booth here. I don't really think you need to, though. Let's go after a linebacker. And honestly, the Jaguars could be in the market for one. They've kind of screwed themselves over. They went Foye Sadi-Aluakun and had to get rid of Miles Jack. So honestly, I'm going to do that. Let's do it. Let's have some fun here. Jaguars is going to make a small move up here with the Bengals. And yeah, it's AFC team to AFC team, but at the end of the day, kiss my ass. Well, I am actually quite surprised. I thought that you could actually get that done with that trade. Let's see. Wow. Look at that. So I'm actually quite surprised here that 2 and then a 3 pick swap, like a pick swap of 31 to 33, along with a 25 move up right there would not be enough. And then that 5th round pick isn't enough either. So we might have to ditch this trade. We'll offer a next year 4th and maybe a 6th this year. Just see what happens to be able to jump up. I guess they're in the same conference, so I think it makes sense. But we're actually going to be going after Leo Chanel here. And the guy had a 40-inch vertical at 252 pounds, 6'2". The guy could bench over 40 reps as well. Like, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure his vertical is 40 inches. He is unbelievable. And a lot of people's linebacker 1. He could be going a lot earlier than this. But Leo Chanel, definitely you have to jump the Lions here. I was thinking about taking him right there. But for the Lions, I think that you still could go after George Pickens here as a solid number 2, could be a real X. But at the same time, I think Lewis Cine might earn the right at a 4.3, 740 to be a first-round pick. That might be the best option. There are a lot of quarterbacks on the board, and I don't want to stress that enough that this is a very prime location for a team to trade up and be able to select a quarterback. So we are going to be listening into those offers, and that offer is actually going to be coming probably from the Colts and the Seahawks. Seahawks have a lot of draft capital, and to take a shot on a quarterback is far from something going to be bad to do. So we're going to address it. The Seahawks are going to be moving up here. Again, Drew Lock is not their answer. Everybody knows that at this point. And of course, the Lions are going to be trading intra-conference, but at the same time, both teams are kind of sucking. So they're kind of doing each other a favor. That 3rd round pick might be, is that insane? Look at that. I had to give up like I did pick swap, but I'm going to be sending that 2 and the 3 through. We're going to do that. We're going to be moving up with the Seattle Seahawks to be able to select Sam Howell out of North Carolina to end off the 1st round. But of course, don't leave. We got round 2 to go. This is going to be a little bit quicker though, because again, we had to do that. Sam Howell being able to come in, he has the highest ceiling by far out of the quarterbacks left. I just don't like Kenny Pickett that much. And I don't think a lot of people do, even in the NFL circle. So yeah, Sam Howell has a ton of potential. Sitting behind Drew Lock for a year would be a pretty solid get. Number 33 with the Bengals. This is going to be a corner. This is going to be Kyler Gordon out of Washington. Did not test out the way we wanted him to. But at the same time, that might be a blessing because that means he's going to be there for you guys at 33. And that's everything that you could ask for. So let's go Kyler Gordon here for the Bengals and continue strengthening that secondary. Probably would have been the pick for me anyways at pick 31. Number 34 for the Lions, obviously quarterback's not on the board anymore. Lewis Cine is going to be the pick, the guy who I would have chosen last time. With the Jets on the board, edge is still a priority. And, oh, man, with an Achilles tear, even with one, David Ojabo is going to be the pick. I'm not going to let him fall much farther. I don't think there's going to be that much of an injury tax on him. The guy's still a phenomenal player. It feels wrong to send him down that far, but it's what happens. Number 36 with the Titans. I think that Sky Moore is still on the board. They could go with him, pair him up with A.J. Brown and Josh Reynolds there. But I also do think they also signed Austin Hooper. So good for you guys in that realm. I do think offensive tackle Bernard Ryman could be a really good get at this point. He could rest for a year as well. And that'd be a big plus. But Devontae Wyatt is on the board. Oh my God. Okay, well, I thought about actually ending the video and restarting it, which I know a lot of you haters will end up saying I should. But I started going back through and I started saying, hey, well, let's just say, because we didn't take him here for the Eagles. Like, where would he go? And we said we were debating it here at 20, but I didn't think they would do it here. They wouldn't do it there. And honestly, the more I looked, you could potentially do it here, but I think offensive line's a good move for them. I'm not seeing a location, like maybe here at 27, where they would actually do it. I really don't. So, you know what? It's not a need, but man, shit. Screw it. We're going to go best player available. Devontae Wyatt here. Screw it. Pairing him up with Simmons is going to be an amazing duo. So I don't care if Daquan Jones. Actually, I think Daquan Jones is gone. I think he actually signed with the Bills. Regardless, man, that hurts me because I love Devontae Wyatt. But good players fall. This is exactly what happens in the real world, where guys keep going off the board. They're like, wait a second, he's on the board? DK Metcalf fell to the mid to late second round. Devontae Wyatt could too. it's not like I have like a solidified first round grade on Devontae Wyatt anyways. It blew my mind that he was here. This is why I usually do the checks. Regardless, number 37 for the Texans, corner still could be on the board here. Andrew Booth would be a phenomenal option. Safety, you still got Jalen Petrie here as well, who could serve that role. You could go after wide receiver Sky Moore, but you could also go after interior defensive line with Perrion Winfrey. Now that you could have, like, who do we get in the first round? Jermaine Johnson, Perrion Winfrey. Like, it seems a little bit, I mean, it is Lovie Smith, but it's going to be too good. Oh, man. Andrew Booth, you got to do it. When you look at the opportunity cost of Andrew Booth, you're going to probably be getting Marcus Jones or Josh Williams at best. And you know what? Andrew Booth is solidified better than all of those guys. So getting Andrew Booth here for Lovie Smith's scheme, I actually think he's better in zone anyways, and this could be perfect for him in that cover too. Number 38 for the Jets. You lost fully Fatu Kasi. Perrion Winfrey is here. You are taking him. I do not care. I don't. Though this mock draft, my own mock draft, is irritating me. Number 39 for the Bears. You don't have an edge anymore. You've pretty much just lost out on your best player on your defense and Khalil Mack. You might need to just sell out. You might need to, but we're not going to. I think guard is still a big issue, and Sean Ryan is going to be the pick. Even over a wide receiver one, oh, man, that would be tough because that guard spot is wide open. But, man, George Pickens is here. We're going to go George Pickens. You got to do it. You got to go wide receiver one, right? Like, you have to. At this point, no one's going to be coming to the Bears, so you got to pair up George Pickens back with Justin Fields. Number 40 with the Lions. This team's going to linebacker. It has to. And Christian Harris on the board. Brian Asamoah. We're going to go with the hype for Christian Harris. I think that's pretty solid. You might as well do it. Number 41 for the Seahawks, who have traded up and gotten a quarterback. Edge could be somebody where you can develop them. Boye Mafe would not be a bad option at all. Again, corner, I'm not really a big fan of anybody left on the board. Linebacker could be a position that you do target, though. Bobby Wagner is gone. Getting a guy like Brian Asamoah might be the perfect guy to do that with. You do have Jordan Brooks there, who I think could be a true Mike. You do have to be able to prioritize your defense. Going after Brian Asamoah, who I have graded as my number 2 linebacker, is probably a bright move. Number 42 with the Colts. This is going to be a quarterback. And, I mean, honestly, I think that Kenny Pickett fits a lot better than what people think. So they're probably going to be looking, their best success after all was with Phillip Rivers. So getting somebody who's a little bit more stable, a little bit less flashy, probably your best bet. Number 43, the Falcons are going to be going after a quarterback, and they're going to go after Desmond Ridder here. The relationship with the quarterback is pretty tainted right now. This is a perfect spot to take a shot on a QB. Number 44 for the Browns. I think we've actually lost out on Perrion Winfrey. I think we did. Yeah, to the Jets. DeMarvin Leal is still here. I would never take him, honestly, just personal gut feeling. I'm actually quite surprised that the Browns have this pick. I think, they traded 3 firsts along with like a 5th and like 4th. Some crazy shit. You guys kept your second round pick, which is awesome, by the way. Still could go after a wide receiver here in Sky Moore, but okay. I think that Travis Jones is ridiculous. Like, when you see the upside, this guy could be absolutely special. We're going to be sending him to this team. Also taking him away from the Ravens. Ravens, you went after an edge in the first round. If I'm not mistaken, that is Travon Walker. The best thing for you guys to do is potentially continue bolstering the line. At this point, like, you don't really have many needs. That's the big issue for trying to mock this team. Anybody, like, you don't really have any positional needs. And you just got a safety too. Like, good for you. Honestly, good for you. But I don't even know what to get for this team at this point. Like, Bernard Ryman, you got Morgan Moses on I believe, a multi-year deal. So it's like, you don't even need that. This might be a good spot to get some picks. It might be. And let's see if there's a team that wants a quarterback. You could go after the Saints here. Saints could definitely try to target a quarterback, because I know the Steelers are trying to, and that might be the reason why I'd want to trade back with a team that's quarterback hungry. Yeah, I mean, the Packers aren't going to be quarterback hungry anytime soon. I swear to God, if that happens, I would be crying, laughing. Well, actually, we're going to do a different move here. We're going to be going at a wide receiver, not Sky Moore, but someone who's really good. at being able to adjust for an inaccurate ball downfield. Alec Pierce, my wide receiver 5, spoiled the big news on the wide receiver video, but I think that guy's a perfect Raven. I think that his 4.41 speed at 6'3" is absolutely phenomenal. Big fan of what Alec Pierce can bring to the table. Number 46 with the Vikings. So obviously Kirk said, now that's out of the way, let's win an effing Super Bowl. It looks like quarterback's not in the realm for you guys either. Wide receiver, though, you could go after Sky Moore here. I would not be mad at that at all. Again, I think that would be a phenomenal option, but safety is still a need. Jaquan Brisker would be a phenomenal option to fill that. Number 47 for Washington, Christian Watson could be the guy you're looking for. He could be. And that wouldn't be a bad option at all. I have him more of as a late third, but when you use him in combination with everybody else, getting a 6'5" guy would not be too shabby. It wouldn't be. And it might be the pick here. He might have all the hype in the world. I just really want Jalen Petrie to potentially have a role in this team as a cornerback or a safety. And I just really like him. That's just me, though. I really do like him. So I'm looking at teams that might need a safety. And I'm trying to see if it's before the Steelers, because I think the Steelers might want to trade up for Matt Corral. Because I love Matt, but it's just that's the way the draft unfolded. I don't think they don't need a safety. I don't think they do. They signed somebody. They signed Marcus May, man. Jesus. The Bears don't either at the moment. And the Eagles just signed a safety. So honestly, we are actually going to be making a move with the Pittsburgh Steelers, moving up here with Washington. There we go. And we are going to be selecting Matt Corral. So I think that would be a really big plus for this team, sending a 4th round pick and a 7th to be able to complete that jump. It seems fair. So we're going to be doing that, and we are going to be selecting Matt Corral to sit on the bench for a year under Mitchell Trubisky. Again, you got Mitchell Trubisky pretty much everything he needs. Now you can get a quarterback for the future with a good amount of years on his contract. Number 48, you got the Chicago Bears. Again, this is best player available, guys. Matt Corral shouldn't be here, and that's just the way it rolls. The Chicago Bears, you still have some solid players on the board. Bernhard Raimann would be a really good get at this point. Jalen Petrie is obviously on the board. I'm going to be going offensive line. But I'm going to be going Sean Ryan because he can play guard where James Daniels is not. Number 49 for the Saints, they are blessed with Bernhard Raimann. He should not be there, but that's just the way this draft unfolded. Number 50 with the Dolphins, this could be Christian Watson. Getting a good deep threat would be awesome for this team. You still need to get Sky Moore out of this realm too, and that might mean another trade back. And honestly, so who did the Packers take? They took Jahan Dotson. Packers are gonna be moving up here. Yeah, they're gonna be making a move because honestly, this is kind of a too good to be true deal. Sky Moore, who's worth arguably a 1st round pick, is on the board. And they're going to be giving up a 4th round pick to make just a small movement up. And yeah, they're going to be solidifying their wide receiver core right here. Sky Moore out of Western Michigan is going to be the guy. Number 51 with the Eagles. This could be Jalen Petrie, but I think a linebacker is a big issue for this squad. And they are going to be going Chad Muma out of Wyoming. I think he's a phenomenal linebacker and a big plus. Washington then probably going to be going Jalen Petrie here out of Baylor. Could play single high, can also play corner. I just love that versatility, man. Big fan of the guy. 53 for the Miami Dolphins. I think that you could go after offensive line here, but I don't think you do. Running back would have been a great option before you signed one in free agency, and there's not really a center worth it on the board. So we are going to be actually going after Christian Watson out of North Dakota State. 6'5", 4.38 speed. Guy's ridiculous as an athlete. I think he's just a poor man's version of Alec Pierce, in my opinion, with some better deep speed. And honestly, it's probably not the best fit for the team, but you've seen throughout their free agency moves with Will Fuller that they want to add an element of speed to this team. And I think he'd be a really good addition. Number 54 with the Patriots. A linebacker is still an issue. And I think this class is phenomenal. Troy Anderson out of Montana State feels like an actual Patriot. Guy's phenomenal as an athlete overall, 4.41 speed, former quarterback, running back, and I think safety. So yeah, he's been all around excellent leader as well. That's exactly what the Patriot mentality is asking for, and that's what he's going to deliver. With the cards on the board, I think an edge is perfectly fine. And honestly, with all the guys on the board, I think maybe Arnold Ebiketie is going to be your best day one impact. And that's exactly what they get. For the Cowboys, wide receivers should be on the board. It should be now. I'm just not really a fan of any of them now that a gadget player isn't exactly the number one need for you. A little bit rough to say that, but I think edge definitely should be on the table now. Obviously, I was expecting Randy Gregory to be back. He's not. So when you look at the guys on the board, Boye Mafe might be a little bit too fun for Jerry Jones not to pull the trigger. And I think you have a solidified enough edge room to where Boye Mafe can take time to develop into a starting caliber edge rusher. Number 57 for the Buffalo Bills. I think running back still should be the option. I really do. They tried to get after J.D. McKissick. It failed. And I don't really think anybody challenges Breece Hall. I think he'd be a true RB1 and the final piece for the Bills. Number 58, you got the Falcons, and linebacker should be in this realm as well. Linebacker, another wide receiver. And honestly, we actually might go back-to-back wide receivers. Sticking to the offensive side, Calvin Austin is going to be a dude who's going to be a big plus. Guy was just top of the charts and everything in terms of athleticism. Really big fan of what he could be. A little bit light, but I really do like his ability to be similar to someone who you just re-signed in Cordell Patterson. That'd be a big plus. Number 59 for the Packers. I think that going after maybe interior defensive line with DeMarvin Leal would be the best decision that you can make. Obviously, you went after George Karlaftis, so you can kind of go and use this guy as kind of a screw it type of pick. You got two wide receivers. Now you got two defensive linemen, kind of building the pieces that you need for successful try to launch your way to the next Super Bowl, right? So relaunch was the word I was looking for. Number 60, we got the Buccaneers on the board, and I still think running back is a huge issue. I really do. And Kenneth Walker, Isaiah Spiller are both guys who I think are phenomenal. And I actually have Isaiah Spiller graded higher, and I think that he's better as a receiver, and that's going to put him over the edge of Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker is just not a very good receiving back. I just don't think he has that good of receiving skills. Isaiah Spiller could definitely be that impact day one. Number 61 with the 49ers. I think that losing Laken Tomlinson sucks. It does. So Jamari Sawyer would be a really good get on the inside that you can also use as a tackle. I think that's a really good choice. Even though corner could still be addressed, I think going after a spot where you had an I don't think he was all pro, but a Pro Bowl level guard is a good place to go. I know you drafted one in the second last year, but at least do the favor for your franchise of drafting another one this year. Number 62, you got the Chiefs back on the board, and wide receiver still could be the option here, but I'm going to actually look at the edge room, and I want to go after someone with a lot of potential. That's going to be Drake Jackson out of USC. I think the guy could definitely he's graded out as a second round pick to me, and I think the guy could just be really, really solid. Number 63 with the Bengals. Again, another team that doesn't really need much. This is where we might see Trey McBride come off the board. Do the Bengals exactly need a tight end? No, but it just might be a little bit too good to pass on him. It just is. So that's the way it's going to roll. And then last but not least, the Broncos on the board at 64. They are going to be going after a slot corner, and that is going to be Marcus Jones out of Houston. Big baller. Love him to death. That's going to be the draft, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate you guys always being there to stick around. And like, we're just growing so well right now. So thank you guys for making that possible. See you on the far side. Peace.